Hey everyone, welcome back to bageltcg. Today we're going to be doing a Oldhim deck tech as well as reviewing the data and list we have so far from the two battle hardens that happened last weekend and the ProQuest season. I know a lot of you, myself included, played in the first weekend of ProQuest Season 3. I had a great time, had a really good time in my store, managed to make top 8, which I was really happy about. I'm just going to support my friends and have a good time since I qualified through limited ELO for the Pro Tour in Baltimore. So I'm excited to see you all there. Very lucky that I got into currently 28 global for limited ELO, so very lucky to be there and happy to make it through there. So just kind of having a good time this ProQuest season. I'm not taking it too seriously, not playing what I think the best deck is and playing something I think is fun. And that way I can lose to my friends and they can make it, and it's a good time all around. So kind of want to hop into this here, though. You can see we had two battle hardens. We had one in New Jersey and one in Leeds. And the key takeaway here, I think, is one, ice is really, really good. I believe the Leeds battle harden, if you look at it here, it's a little unsorted weird because battle harden New Jersey is below and above it, but it's like basically all ice decks. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Oldhims, 1, 2, 3 Icelanders, and a Bravo, right? Something like that. That's more than 8, I think. But yeah, there's a New Jersey Bravo thrown in here. So it is all ice decks. This is just sorted really weird. But yeah, it's 5 Oldhim and 3 Icelander. So Oldhim's really good. It was won by Oldhim, and Icelander's really good. Ice seems to be good in general, and I would not be super surprised. I mean, this is just from one event, so obviously, you know, it's not gonna like make them make immediate changes. But Ice seems to be quite good right now. Icelander seems to be the best deck, or Oldhim. I think those are probably the two best decks in the game. And then Lexi's probably in the top 5 as well, at least close to it. So Ice all seems to be pretty good. I wouldn't be surprised if we lost a card like Channel Lake Frigid, Hypothermia. But I do think Channel Lake Frigid is the one that is most played in all 3 decks. It's one of the only ice blues that also 3 blocks, does a lot of things there. It really just adds so much power to the ice decks. So I would wonder maybe if they're too bad if they take away Channel Lake Frigid, but I don't think that would be the end of the world. So I wouldn't be surprised if we lose some ice power coming up soon. But yeah, Oldhim is very good. He won Battle Hardened Leeds and then also won Battle Hardened New Jersey here. And we had quite a few Oldhims. I think we had 3 Oldhims. I know it's kind of separated around here. I think we had 3 Oldhims in Battle Hardened New Jersey, 2 Icelander, 2 Bravo, and a Briar, something like that. It is a little all separated out here, but that looks to be the split. So some non-ice heroes in New Jersey with a Briar and a Bravo, but it's not that many, and it's still pretty dominated by having 3 Oldhim, 3 Icelander, something like that. So still pretty dominated by these other decks. I think there might have been a dash in there that's not on here, but yeah, pretty good split at New Jersey. A little more balanced than just 8 ice heroes. And yeah, overall though, Oldhim seems to have been the winner of the weekend, especially for these battle hardens. But I will say, I saw him take down quite a lot of ProQuest as well. My ProQuest was taken down by Icelander, and those 2 heroes just seem fundamentally a little bit stronger than the rest. I think in the tier list that I made last week, I wouldn't say I was wrong outside of Oldhim. I think I would put Oldhim as the second S tier hero. I had only Icelander in S tier, and I think Oldhim would be the other S tier hero now. Just after seeing the results and how he was a little better into the field than I thought, honestly. So I put both Oldhim and Icelander in S tier now, and I kind of want to hop in and look at one of the Oldhim decks. This is the Battle Hardened winner from New Jersey, and looking at his Oldhim deck that he piloted to that first place at the Battle Hardened, and just kind of see what we're working with here, right? So the equipment suite is fairly standard. The only things that are kind of surprises here are the tectonic plating, right? So a little more equipment for certain matchups, I guess, where you don't care about Tunic. Maybe matchups where you're not, when you're running this Crown of Providence, because Tunic is, great synergy with the Crown of Seeds, but you could switch to both of these for a huge equipment loadout. And then also we've got Mage Master boots here to run with this one Toma Fiendal, kind of just like Bravo in the good old days. And the Oldhim from Battle Hardened Leeds that won also was running Mage Master boots with Toma Fjendal, I believe. So a nice little combination of cards that seems to be doing pretty well in this meta. I think especially with Icelander, I would guess that is helpful there too. Getting some extra life gain against arcane-based decks is pretty nice. And I think Oldhim is one of the few things he doesn't have is life gain. So having that life gain will be really nice. The rest of this is pretty standard. We've got 2 Arcane Barrier here. We've got both Shields, Crown of Seeds, the Crater Fist, the Tunic, the Winter's Wail. I would just be interested to see what matchups he's running the Tectonic Plating and the Crown of Providence. Those are 2 cards that I think you maybe run into some of the more aggro decks that have a lot of on hits. If you're against like a 5, for example, you don't really have the luxury of ticking up Tunic, using it for Crown of Seeds. This gives you 1 life between the 2 of these on the block. This gives you 5 life. So you get 4 more life by running these, and you don't lose too much because you're not doing this as much against 5s, maybe Briars even, some stuff like that. Briar, you might want the Crown of Seeds to have AB too, but really Stalagmite plus this gives you a ton of equipment block, right? If we look at 2 from Crown of Providence, 3 from Stalagmite, 3 from Tectonic Plating gets us up to 8, and then 3 more from Crater Fist gets us to 11. Then we're running Mage Masters that don't give us any extra life, but if we resolve Tome in the right way with it, will gain us 5 life, right? So not gaining any straight up life on their own by blocking, but up to 5 life. So from 11 to 16 there, like 16 extra life is a lot. So a huge equipment suite, and I can see why he would want to swap to this more armor heavy loadout sometimes. Let's look at the deck though. The only card we've really looked at is this Toma Fjendal so far. We've got a few kind of tech cards with 1 Chokeslam, 1 Crush the Weak. These are just to try to find them in those specific aggro matchups where they're good against Fi or against Briar, stuff like that. We've got the Command and Conquerors, which are always good with Tunic and Pummel here. We are only running 2 red Pummel, 1 yellow, and 1 blue. In fields where deck lists aren't open, which is the majority of the time, I think it's really smart to not let your opponents know what number of each color you have, right? With 1 of each color, they are really going to be guessing, does he have more blues? Does he have more yellows? Does he have more reds, right? And they won't know until they're dead, probably, because you're never going to play all 3 of any of them because you don't have 3. So they might always think there's another red Pummel coming, another yellow, or another blue, and could play incorrectly because of that hidden information. So I don't think this is a bad idea. I don't particularly like blue or yellow Pummel. I think the only thing I like about them is that they kind of scare your opponent a little by making them think you have more Pummels than you actually do. Love 3 red Pummel though, but I can understand cutting 1 to have some of these other tricky ones in here. E-Strike, always a great card in Oldhim. Endless Winter is another great card now. A lot of decks, especially Dash, activates a lot, and Fi activates a lot, so it's great into both of those decks. And I actually don't think we are running 3 blue Insidious Chill, but I really like Insidious Chill. I would probably run Insidious Chill over like some of these Blizzards or Hypothermia. And then Endless Winter gets even better when you're running Insidious Chill. It's a great card. You only want to play it on the first turn of the game if you're turn 0, but otherwise it's still pretty good overall. And then I think the rest of this is pretty standard. We've got some Glacial Footsteps, red and blue, some Fate Foreseen, Sink Belows, Spinal Crush, a few Staunch responses here at red to get a bit taller. I prefer yellow Staunch response in Oldhim, but I like the red here as well. Pulverize, 2 Pulverize seems to be the right number nowadays, so I like that. A little light on the Earth Reacts, which I think makes sense if you don't expect a lot of Other Guardian. Earth React is basically only really great into Other Guardians, which lets you kind of beat them in the fatigue. So only 3 makes sense if you didn't expect a lot of Other Guardian. I do expect more Guardian to be around, so I'd probably add in 2 blue Break Grounds as well to increase the number there. Not a particularly big fan of Blizzard in this number. You probably only ever want 1. The other ones, it just doesn't block, which is a huge liability, really. Generally Frigid, amazing, your best Ice Blue. You obviously want these Blue Interest Grasp as well. Winter's Bite's another one of your great ice blues. And we've got our big attacks, Cranial Crush, Disable, Macho Grande, Thunderquake, Rouse, and Terrace Hunter are always classic. So a lot of this is standard. The Heart of Fjendal is pretty interesting. It's definitely not necessary to play the deck, so don't think you need this. This could be your blue break ground. You're going to want to break ground anyways, so I mean, this card's not bad in the list for sure, but it is most certainly not necessary. But it's cool that it's here, and it adds a lot of money value to the deck. You can see this deck's almost $2,000, which is pretty absurd, but we do have a lot of fancy legendaries here. Tunic, Crown of Providence, Crown of Seeds, both shields, Tectonic Plating, and then we've got Heart of Fjendal, we've got the Enlightened Strikes, the Command and Conquers, full fanciness up. I'm not sure if this is counting like the more blingy stuff. Like, I don't know if that 1700 counts these alternate art channel like Frigids. I really don't know the answer to that, but it's certainly a pricey deck, but a powerful one, right? I think this is maybe not this exact 80. I mean, I do think this is a good 80. It won a Battle Hardened, and I think you could probably take this exact 80 and run with it. But I think you could take something close to this or this exact 80 and win almost any event you're at with enough reps, right? Guardian is a difficult deck. You need to know every matchup, and this deck, you can be punished pretty hard if you don't know what to do in each matchup, right? I'm going to just... remove some cards here, and I'm just gonna change it to what I recommend. You can take this, you can not take it, it is entirely up to you. We're gonna cut this blue pummel because I don't like that. We do red pummel, and then we're gonna, I don't like the CNC as much as I like the Enlightened Strike. And then we're gonna go, there's so many options with this deck that sometimes it's hard to know what to play, because you can just play so much. Nope, that's not how you play that. We'll add Insidious Chill. I like Insidious Chill. And this is basically the deck. We're missing two. How many ice cards do we have now? 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 13. We want like one more. I mean, we can add a second Blizzard, I guess. I don't like 2 that much, but it's not bad there. So 2 Blizzard, 14 ice cards. Got that set up. How many blues? 39 blues. We'll add that last Command and Conquer back in. Okay, this is something I would run like this. I mean, you can the actual deck list is also on this website, but this is how I would build it, I suppose. Actually, I want some break grounds in here. You want a few more earth cards. Let's cut this heart. You don't need the heart. And then we'll cut... Oh, it gets pretty tricky. We'll actually cut that Blizzard, and we'll add in the 2 break grounds. This will help your Guardian matchup by letting you pitch to Earth React, especially because Ice React is not very helpful in that matchup. Well, this will be pretty nice. So I'll have this deck, in the description. Set it like a kiwi there, and we will. You can play it. Let me know how it goes for you. I think Oldhim is probably the best hero, probably tied with Icelander. Ice is particularly strong right now. You need to have a plan for it if you aren't playing it. Even if you are playing it, you need to have a plan for other ice decks, right? So Ice seems to be kind of king right now. If you're in aggro deck, you want to have a lot of blues, some energy potions, maybe some belittle Minnowism to get some extra resources. If you're an ice deck, you need to have plans into the other ice decks. What are you going to do to kind of beat them down so that they can't slow you down out of the game completely? You know, Oldhim needs to have that more aggressive Enlightened Strike, Rouse game plan into the Icelanders, for example. But yes, thank you for watching the video. It's a bit of a ramble there. I apologize for that as I kind of went through this deck, talked about it, and talked about the format, but just kind of wanted to do open thoughts deck tech / video here as we look at how this field shaped up. Not too much data yet. I'm sure FABTCG will publish their official data article that I'll review at some point. But now just kind of what I'm seeing on Twitter, what I'm seeing from friends and on Discord, that Oldham's doing really good, Icelander's doing really good, and Ice in general seems to be winning most of the events I've seen locally and globally. So have a plan into Ice, play Oldhim. He seems to be quite strong right now, and get those reps in, because Ice can be sometimes punishing to play if you don't draw well. So thanks for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you next time.